Wes, so good to see you. Today, we're going to talk through 3 easy ways to jeopardize your retirement. According to Kiplinger, only 44% of people have ever calculated what they will need to live on in retirement. Of course, first crunch the numbers, and then after that, consider rethinking the way you spend before you retire to ensure you don't outlive your nest egg. So let's talk through those 3 common pitfalls. Number one, many retirees carry credit card balances, auto loans, mortgages, or other debt into retirement, sometimes as high as 55K, according to Investopedia. So, how important is it to enter retirement debt free?
Let me just say this. If you have a lot of credit card debt, don't retire yet. You
Yeah.
don't want to get off on a bad foot there. But things like credit card debt, personal loans, auto loans, and any high interest variable debt, we want to really have limited in retirement. Now, not all debt is created equal. Naturally, if we have a low fixed rate mortgage,
Mhm.
let's try to have that mortgage payment represent no more than 15 to 20% of our guaranteed monthly income stream. So that could be from Social Security, pensions if you're lucky enough to have one, or annuity payments. That's a different animal because we have the income that's fixed and the payments that's fixed to cover that expense.
That makes sense. All right, this next one kind of gets me right here. Of course, you too, as parents, a record number of parents, 50%, according to savings.com, are financially supporting their adult children with the average support around $1,500 a month. That includes expenses like groceries, cell phone bills, rent, health insurance, and even vacations. So, how do we prioritize our retirement while still helping our family?
Listen, I totally get it. As a
Yeah,
father of 3 boys, there's nothing more that I enjoy than helping them out.
right.
But I have to recognize, and my wife and I, we've had this discussion because I brought this point up to her that, we're seeing a lot of clients needing to help out their kids. And we talk about hopefully later in life, we don't have to do this. But if you have to help out your children, let's do it in a really smart way. So instead of just giving cash outright at increasing amounts, or amounts that are you're like, where is this money really going? Have it have an actual purpose. Maybe that's assisting with certain payments like insurance or healthcare, or maybe a little bit of childcare, because we all know that's expensive. But at the end of the day, we have to recognize that we can't borrow for our retirement. You can borrow for things like college, right? But if we burn the furniture today, meaning if we're using retirement assets like IRAs and 401ks to help our children out, we have to recognize that later in life, maybe by doing that and in too much of that, we become a burden on our children. So it's this never ending cycle, right? So this is where, again, planning, Aaron, is such a big thing because we put into plans, well, what if your expenses increase by X? And that could be used for anything. Maybe it's helping out children. Where's that money going to come from? Is that going to put you and your spouse in a really tough spot
Mhm.
10 years from now, 15, 20 years from now? We have to run the numbers.
Right, absolutely. And then last, living large. Simply put, living beyond our means. But how can we determine if we're spending more than we should? Because this is such a delicate balance in retirement.
It really is. But if we're covering like our core expenses from guaranteed income streams, like I alluded to earlier, pensions, Social Security, and annuities, then that allows us to have our portfolio kind of be there for the inflated expenses over time, whether that's lifestyle creep or just one off expenses. But if we're having these large, say, one off expenses that happen every year, well, at the end of the day, that becomes your lifestyle, right?
Mhm.
So we have to know when we can pull from our portfolio in the right amounts. And if we're doing so in a down market and continuing to do so, then that could be a detriment for our plan later.
Mhm. Well, Wes, let's say that somebody is watching this video. Maybe some of these pitfalls are sounding a little bit too familiar to them, and they'd like your help creating a financial plan to make sure that they can kind of work around them. What's the best way to reach you?
We'd welcome a message to info@patriotwealthnc.com, or feel free to give us a buzz, 919 322 4113.
Wes, thank you.
Thanks, Aaron.